This is episode 28 of What's Been Better. This week, we're talking about respect. R.E.S.P.E.C.T. Let's find out what it means to us. To all those with sensitive ears, we cuss for emphasis, not harm.
Hey, Sylvia.
Hi, Lori.
How are you today?
Good. Good to see you
Good.
again.
No, it's always good to see your beautiful face.
Yours too. Yours too.
Oh,
I don't talk to that many people. I really talk to you and just a handful of other people. And
hmm
so this is always a highlight. Doesn't matter
really?
if we do this once a week, doesn't matter if we do it 3 times a week. It just, I enjoy it still
That's
to this day.
oh,
28
that's.
episodes later.
I know. I'm excited too. I feel better and better every time we get on here and start talking.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna start.
All
What's
right.
what's been better?
Um, what has been better? I think understanding and admitting how I really feel, even though it's not daisies and glitter, being
hmm
able to express
Yep.
good, bad, other is
hmm
so much better because I feel better after I get it out.
Right. And so I'm a person who also, when I say, ask questions, I also want to know what difference it's making, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because things are different when things are better, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you getting this out, what's different?
Um, it's what you said in your video today about not being able to hide. You cannot run from your true self. You cannot run or hide what you actually feel from anyone. So it's almost like a little bit of acceptance of myself a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I work on that every day because that is something that I just didn't do forever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, it makes me cry and
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with it. Just get
Mm-hmm.
the tears out,
Mm-hmm.
but it still makes me feel better at the end.
That's so that's beautiful.
So yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So what's been better for you?
Well, I have a different perspective.
Okay.
Um, and I'm learning every day to work on my perspective because I have low days.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past couple of days, my website being broken and just trying to grow and go to the next level, it gets overwhelming. I felt overwhelmed. And
Yeah.
so I'm also in real time as I share with people practicing being better and better, I'm having
Mm-hmm.
to practice as well. And sometimes low points come in and I feel low. I feel overwhelmed. I feel frustrated. I feel consumed. And so as I start to recognize how these feelings are, I have to ask myself, how do you want to feel? And also giving myself time to breathe
Yeah.
and relax and know that everything is going to work itself out. So then I have to give myself encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
So taking this different perspective of when these low points hit and the feelings hit, breathing and saying
Yeah.
to myself, it's going to be okay. I didn't make myself. I didn't bring myself to this place in this world. So with that being the case, I know it's not totally up to me to make sure my life is the way it needs to be. Birds ain't sitting out there trying to figure out how they're gonna fly. And flowers are not figuring out how they are gonna grow. They just grow. Their asses
Right.
just grow. So I'm really learning to let go and allow life to be life. So
Hmm.
that's what's been better for me.
I like it. I like it. It's it it's a lot going on, but it's also new, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of yeah, it is overwhelming. It is very overwhelming at the moment in different ways. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm learning to pick it up, feel a lot better, and put some pep in my fucking step, and know that life is what I make it. Life is what I think it.
Yeah.
So as I think it is. So I'm learning to think better thoughts every day.
Yeah.
So what we talking about today? We talking about some respect.
We're talking about respect. Well, you know
Put
what?
some
Before
respect on
we
it.
before we do that, we got to talk to the listeners
Okay.
because we're just not hearing from everybody, and we really want to hear from everybody. Like this show is so much about like what we think and how we feel, and about us. But we want to build like this community. We always talk about this.
Right.
So I'm putting this out there to everybody who listens. Get in contact with us. What do you want to hear us talk about?
Yes.
What do
And
you want to
also,
talk about?
absolutely, I want to hear what you want to talk about because life hits us all different ways. And I want you to all know that you matter.
Yeah.
You matter. You are important, and you also have a choice. You have a choice to what you listen to. And
Yes.
somehow you chose to listen to us, and we're so grateful, and we thank you for that. But
Mm-hmm.
we also want to hear from you,
Yeah.
right? And even if you all want to come on our show, we want you to come on so we can talk about some things. There are breakthroughs that happen every day.
Mm-hmm.
There are issues and relationships that we deal with. Everybody that is listening to the sound of our voices are in some kind of relationship. You have a relationship with your child, your mother, your uncle, your
Mm-hmm.
husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend,
Right.
your whomever. There's a relationship with somebody that has issues,
Mm-hmm.
because we all have issues. And I want us to win. Sylvia wants us to win.
You
We
know I
want to be
do.
overcomers.
You know that.
So let's
Yeah.
hear from you guys. We would love it.
Please contact us. You can figure out how to contact us some kind of way. We are everywhere. We are on TikTok, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we're on YouTube. You can email us at questions@whatsbeenbetter.com. Find us. Find us, talk to us. We want to hear from you because at this point we're just yelling into the void if y'all don't yell back. So,
and we're going to keep yelling.
Yes. I'm going to keep talking, y'all.
All right.
If it's one thing I'm going to do.
Right.
So let's talk about respect because, we had these conversations about my formative years.
And
I remember one of the things you asked me was like, how did I get past all that? Like, how did I tell people to shut the fuck up? Like, how did I command respect? And part of me doesn't always know that I did because I didn't know what it meant.
Right.
And part of me was just operating out of spite.
Okay.
Which is, to me, I feel like sometimes that is fuel. But the problem with spite is like, it's false fuel. It's a false sense of security. Because once you get done like accomplishing whatever it is out of spite, you're like, don't necessarily feel better.
No,
you just did the thing.
Right. Right. You did it, but you felt away.
Yeah.
Right. Spite came from a place, right? Maybe you felt attacked.
Right.
Right. So it's about tapping into how you feel. But now that you recognize the spite didn't get you anywhere, all right, what are we gonna do next? But somehow it worked when it did work.
Like that's the hard part about spite is like spite and being petty. You're gonna win.
Not necessarily, but
if you do it right.
Oh, okay.
If you do it right.
Like, what does that even mean?
Okay. Do you watch? I don't know if you don't watch a lot of TV, right? Like, or you do?
I watch random shit. Like, like I watch Grey's Anatomy, but it's like two episodes.
Yeah.
Like, or I might watch what is that? Fresh Prince of Bel Air, like Bel Air. There's a new show out on Amazon called Harlem. I don't know if
I
you ever heard
love that show.
Okay, so
love that show. Do you watch
Yeah.
Atlanta?
No, I don't
Okay,
watch Atlanta.
so
But
this
that's
this
with
season, Donald
Gambino.
Glover.
Okay.
Yeah, Childish Gambino. Um, so they just did an episode about Spite. Like,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
gonna give it away or anything, but like he won. He didn't
Okay.
feel better in the
Mm-hmm.
long run. And in the
Right.
long run, the very last line that he says is like, I need to go back to therapy. Yes, you do. And I'm here to tell everybody, like, if it's one thing you need to do is like go to therapy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's two people that you need to have as soon as you graduate from college or as soon as you get ready to like start something new.
Mm-hmm.
So start a marriage, start a new career, change careers, have a kid for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's two people you need. You need a financial advisor and you need a therapist.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I shit wholeheartedly
Mm-hmm.
because they're both and not one that's not connected to you.
No, hell
You need
no.
one that's like you can send them a Christmas card, like
Yeah.
family almost,
Yeah.
that you can feel yourself feel comfortable talking to them. Not
I,
like it's some informal shit. It needs
I
to be really, I mean, not some formal shit. It needs to be really relaxed.
yes. I have said this since the beginning of me understanding the importance of having medical and health professionals that look like me.
Mm-hmm.
If I walk in the room and I say some shit and I have to translate it for you, I know that when things come down to like, I'm not okay, or I say, ouch, you're not going to hear me.
Right.
So if you look like me and you could put yourself in my shoes, you will have empathy instantly because you know exactly what it means to be me,
Mm-hmm.
then I know that I'll be okay. So
Right.
everybody from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet looks like me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Everyone. Because I don't have time to be in a medical situation or like an emergency or a mental health crisis. And I'm saying, ouch. And everybody's like, just don't think about it. You'll be fine.
That's
Or it doesn't hurt
amazing.
that bad.
Right. And it's really checking in with knowing yourself
Mm-hmm.
and knowing how you feel. And when someone dismisses you, like
Yeah.
when you share how you feel and then they tell you that's not how you feel or
Right.
feel a different way, sit with me for a second. Check
Mm-hmm.
in with me. Be with me right now.
Yeah.
And then ask me how I want to feel. Don't fucking tell me how to feel.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
Like, I don't need to walk into a therapy session and the therapist not understand or have seen or heard of a different world or Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Like, I
Oh
need to
my
be able to
God.
reference, I am Denise Huxtable, and you know exactly what that looks like.
Right. Right.
I don't need you to be confused about nothing that I just said.
Well,
If
I'm
I
trying to
say
remember
Denise
who Denise.
Huxtable,
I'm trying to remember Denise. That's the one who went to
Hillman.
different world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then she left because did
Right.
she got pregnant in real life.
Mm-hmm.
She had a falling out with Bill Cosby.
Right.
Okay, see, I'm remembering the names, not the character names, but I get
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah,
But you
I
understand
I
like
totally I went there.
scatterbrained,
Right, I went
not
there.
quite here.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So stuff like that is like I don't have time to translate. I
Yeah.
need you to understand me so that way you can help me because I'm
Hmm.
seeking your professional advice, your
Right.
assistance, your whatever.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
and I get it. I get it.
yeah, I think, but that's at the heart to me of like beginning to respect yourself also.
That's huge. That's huge.
I say that because if you don't know enough about yourself to know how to advocate for yourself, then you don't really care about yourself. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know about that. I don't know if because you don't know enough about yourself to advocate that you don't care about yourself. You could not know. There's a
Oh,
not knowing there. You
okay.
don't know that you don't know, right? Like a lot of women die in childbirth because the doctor
Right.
didn't, they
They didn't take them
imagine.
seriously or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And they didn't even know to advocate for themselves. Like I'm thinking about Serena
Mm-hmm.
Williams when she had a blood clot, I think,
Right.
or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But had she not done her homework, she wouldn't have known, and that wouldn't have meant that she didn't care about herself.
I'll
Right.
give you that. I'll give you
Right.
that.
But sometimes we don't care about ourselves. So in line with what you're saying, we don't care about ourselves and then we don't advocate.
Okay, let me rephrase what I'm saying then. I am not going to put myself in a situation where I will sacrifice my health for
Mm.
somebody else's feelings.
Okay.
Like, think about the people who have service calls at their house and they wear a mask all the time
Uh-huh.
and they take COVID seriously and they take their health seriously. And the person comes to provide a service at their home and they don't want to wear a mask. And you still let them in and risk your health, because anybody could lie to you and be like, oh, I'm healthy, or I'm vaccinated, or I wash my hands, or whatever, and they don't, and there you are sick.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying
No, I'm not.
the person that is receiving the people in or allowing these people not to wear masks.
Yeah, or they're like, or they don't want to hurt the other people's feelings, so
Mm-hmm.
they'll risk their health.
Right.
Or you go
Yeah.
to a
Mm-hmm.
hospital in an emergency situation and you're like stern with the doctors because they're not listening to you. Or I'm sorry, you're not stern with the doctors because you're like, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
We might die. Like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
what I'm saying. Like,
right.
advocate for yourself instead of trying to protect somebody's
Somebody
feelings or
else's
somebody's
feelings.
ego.
Right. Yeah, and to that I say to those people who do that because it happens on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that you matter. And I'm saying you matter because how you feel matters.
Yeah.
And if how you feel offends somebody else, then let them be offended.
You're not responsible for that. You're
No,
just not. Like, you're not responsible for how anybody else receives anything. You're not responsible for anybody else's like translation of your words. Like, you said what you said.
that's it.
Literally, the words that you said are the words that you said. Now, how somebody takes it, that's on them.
Right. But I will say there's a back door to that or an underlying thing when you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to hurt somebody because you don't want, ultimately, a lot of times people don't want to be alone and they feel like
Yeah.
they'll offend somebody and the person will leave them. So it's
Yeah.
like the fear of rejection is so strong that they will allow abuse. They will
Mm-hmm.
allow their feelings to not be expressed or
Mm-hmm.
validated, or
Yeah.
even they won't sometimes won't even share it
Right.
because of that fear of rejection.
Yeah.
And so and so what I say to that is imagine that you didn't fear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you didn't fear this thing, what would be different?
Yeah.
And we have to check in. So I'm really, really curious though for how you use spite to help you feel better. And then you got to a place where spite didn't work no more. And I guess you decided to use something else so that people would respect you.
I am a picker and a chooser of when I receive the spite. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So
Okay.
it is not always the fuel, but okay. This is me figuring things out in real time as if this is like episode one. I think that it depends on the situation. It depends on the person who is
Mhm,
delving out whatever the thing is that I
mhm,
feel like I need to prove to them. This all goes back to the same thing. Good grief. That I'm enough, or that I'm
yeah.
good enough,
Right.
or that I am better, or that
Mhm.
I am capable. So then it's like, I got to show them, like, fuck out of here with telling me no or questioning me or whatever the thing is. I am like, I'm going to do it just because. just because the illusion that they
Mm-hmm.
might say no, or the illusion that they don't think that I'm good enough, or
Right.
the you know what I'm saying? They don't even
Mm-hmm.
have to say it. It's like the feelers, I guess, of like maybe they feel like they're doubting me, or
Right.
maybe they feel like they're gonna say whatever or do whatever. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that's okay. You don't even have to say it. You don't even have to. So that's what I'm saying. Like I pick and choose. I'm not always spiteful. I'm not always running off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I try not to do it anymore. But some people just try the shit. And I'm like, you know what? You tried it and I have time today.
Is it recent?
Um, yeah. Yeah.
Is Spike showing up now though?
Yes. I
Okay.
don't want it. Like, here's the thing. Like, I don't want it,
Mm-hmm.
but until it's proven that it hasn't worked,
Well, are you open to sharing how it shows up? How does Spike show up?
um, remember when I was talking about being persistent?
Okay.
It's that. Because I think a lot of times when things aren't necessarily going to work, things that I'm like, okay, that should totally work. I already know how to do this, or I've already tried this, or whatever. I start getting the spite. I start getting spiteful at that point of like, no, 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 I'm finishing this. I'm doing this. I'm whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's cloaked in me being persistent.
Oh, okay. So Spike from the standpoint of get back. I'm gonna get back, or I'm gonna show you.
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
gonna prove something to you.
Mm-hmm.
So who are you really proving it to, though?
Me.
Okay. Okay.
But the problem with it is I don't necessarily look at it like that when I'm in the situation, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like if I had to prove certain things to myself, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't give a fuck at all. Like
So
I
you need to
shit
be
you not.
prompted.
Yeah, it's a prompt. It's a
Okay.
writing prompt. Remember in school how you had like the writing prompt and it was like
Right.
write a paragraph about
Right.
whatever. They gave you
Right.
the little like two sentences or they gave you like a
Yeah.
paragraph. That's what it is. I just need a
Yeah.
prompt and then
Right.
I'll go.
Right. I
But
hear you. And that's what all of us like when I do those videos, it's boring as shit. Like I'm like, I
really?
would yeah, I have to push myself. I have to push myself because it like in a session, I don't need to be pushed because the prompting is already there. In this time that we have together, this episode, there's no pushing because it's
Oh,
here.
so
And
this
so,
is okay. Lori, I'm figuring something out. Your prompt is that you need to be questioned.
yeah,
You
or
need someone to
have
say,
a
Lori, help me figure this out.
right. And as you share with me what's going on, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
But for me to just come up off the cuff talking about some shit, I'm like, I don't know what you want to hear because everybody has something that's different. And
Okay.
my words are different every time. Just
Mm-hmm.
like something that you said that you heard today, I didn't know that made a difference. I won't
Hmm.
know. So
Yes.
I'm now trying to I'm doing two things. Now I'm having to figure out what you might be wanting to hear, and then I answer it at the same time.
Mm.
So that, and with me saying that, it's like sometimes for us as individuals, it's difficult to prompt ourselves to get started. So I hear you, it's like, yeah, you might have to prove some things to yourself, but it only comes from maybe being prompted by someone else and
Yeah.
lighting a fire up under your ass. But
Yeah.
sounds like you're offended by some of the stuff. And I'm
Some of the
curious,
stuff, yes. Some of
right?
the stuff I am offended by. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah, some stuff I'm just like, you
You dirty dog.
yeah. Um,
Can't stand your ass.
don't don't ask me about having kids. I get real stupid and real ignorant about that. Like, I don't know how many other ways I could tell you, show you, prove to you, let you know. I am never going to be anybody's fucking mother.
Okay.
Stop asking.
So is it a family member that does that
Oh, it could
who
be
already
anybody on the
know?
street.
Okay, so then they don't know.
People know. People
People
know.
off the street know?
People. Okay. It's here's how I know you know. When you ask me, do I have kids? And I say no,
Mm-hmm.
do not have a follow up
How do they know not to have a follow-up?
because no is a complete sentence.
Okay, so the follow-up is what? Why don't you want
Why
children?
not? You would be great at it. You don't know me. Why not? You probably would love it. You don't know me. Why not? Kids are great for you, not me. Don't have a follow up. Don't
Okay.
try to sell me. Don't try to convince me. Don't. Um, do not ask me about teaching. Hell no.
I will tell you, these are things that are triggers for you that
Yes.
somebody else won't know that they're triggering. So then that's not their responsibility to know not to have a follow-up because it's impossible for them not to know.
Okay.
But you can know for yourself, and it can be practice for you to release yourself from even imagining what is there from them. Like, it's you already knowing, no, I don't want children. If they have a follow-up, I'll receive it. But the truth is, you see what I'm saying? It's like you actually knowing in real time how you feel and
Yeah.
not allowing what they're saying to have a major impact unless you hadn't done, I'm not going to say done the work, but what I'm saying is checked into what's there for you.
Yeah.
And that's for anybody, like, and again, the stuff that we talk about is relevant. That's
Mm-hmm.
why we're talking about it. It happens in every family, right?
Yeah.
We all get triggered because I get triggered by my sister, by my brother. Like, people trigger us on a daily, and we have to ask ourselves, are we taking this shit personally? Are we allowing ourselves to get frustrated by maybe some innocent, maybe not so innocent things that people say?
All right, Lori.
Yeah.
21 years in. Shit.
Okay.
We're not even going to say 21. We're just going to say the 10 years of marriage in. If for the whole entire 10 years of marriage consistently, if you have been in our circle, in our face, you've had dinner with us,
Mm-hmm.
you know that we are not having kids.
I get it.
Do not ask us about kids. It's it's beyond the point now where it's a joke. It is disrespectful at this
Oh,
point.
right. And so then guess what? If the same people now, it's
Mm-hmm.
different if it's some random ass person off the street.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I'm
I'll
not
give you
gonna
that
give
one.
them that smoke because
Put
they
that one
not
aside.
right. But if the
Uh,
same person that I've known for past 15 years or whatever, and they come, then my question is, what is this about that you're asking me? Are you joking? Like, what's there? Do you, I mean, do they have children?
yeah.
Okay. And I would even go there. Do you want children?
What's wrong with the ones you
Seriously.
have?
Right. Like, sometimes we have to probe in a different way to
Mm-hmm.
just because if the bear is poking us, we can poke that fucking bear back.
So so here it is. So yeah, so we can put the people who are the strangers off the street to the side. Fine. They get smoke because they want to keep prodding. Fine.
Hmm.
We'll shut that down. How many times can a person like how is no not no? You know what I'm saying? So this
Right.
is how I've really over the years how I got on do you want to know or
Hmm.
hell no?
Hmm.
Because I don't both of them end with a period. They are a whole entire sentence. Stop
Right.
doing that. And I think it goes to the heart also of like, if we really wanted to probe deeper, this is American culture and how women are treated.
Right.
Because this also goes back to like what Drew and I are saying about people will say really sideways shit to me that they would never say to him
Right.
And it's like, I don't think it's a joke anymore.
Right.
It's not even said jokingly anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so to those people, I would say, guess what? Are you my person or you not?
Mm.
Because ask that fucking question again. I would say just like that. Ask that fucking question again. You won't get an answer from me.
Mm.
I will
You
just
won't
look
get
at you.
anything from me.
Right. And I won't call you anymore. You won't be invited to my house. I won't even, I would look at you like somebody I don't even know. And
Like
that's possible.
it's that serious to me. And I know somebody is probably like, it's not that deep. No, seriously.
Well,
Also,
they
because
can,
like you really
yeah,
never know what anybody is going through. You
right,
don't know anybody's medical history unless it's like stamped on their forehead. You
right.
don't know what the depths of that is, of why they are saying or why somebody would have such a visceral reaction to
Well, that's the other
kids.
thing. Right. Yeah, exactly. And so there's a level of insensitivity that some people
Yeah.
have. And so you can speak to that.
Right.
That's a very insensitive question that you're asking me. I
Right.
find it very disrespectful. I find it rude. And on that, I'm out. You know, like when you get to tell people, I'm not dealing with you anymore
Mm-hmm.
because you don't even know how to address me.
Yeah.
And after all of this time, you're still speaking the same thing. Do you know how that affects me? Do you care how it affects me?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if this person is doing that, then you ask yourself, it's like, are you trying to antagonize me? Are you trying
Yeah.
to belittle me? Are you trying to offend me? What
Mm-hmm.
is your goal here?
Yeah.
Right. Um,
But
you know, yeah.
it was like even back to the beginning days of like me being a housewife. People could not, it was like people would short circuit when I'd be like, I'm just a housewife. I do not work. I just do the things at my house. That is it. And be like, oh, you're homeschooling your kids because this is before COVID. I'm like, we don't have any kids. How are you a housewife? As if you're not allowed to be a housewife if you don't have kids. As
Well,
if there's always
there's
this
a lot of
relationship,
ignorance. Let me just let you
right?
know, there's a lot of ignorance out
Right.
there. And so out of I mean, and again, is it's actually excusing ignorance,
Yeah.
having compassion for yourself and others to
Mm-hmm.
say, bless you, my child. I understand that it just seems so weird to hear a housewife without children, but a wife means you're married to a husband or you're married. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily include children unless you included it, you know.
Right.
But to even give that explanation takes energy and time. So
But this is what I'm saying. So then it became like now I got to live the best life I could possibly live out of spite, just to show you that I could be a housewife without kids and
what
still
does
have a great life.
yeah, okay. But what does that mean though? Because so if you don't have children, you're not having a great life?
Oh, I've had that said to me. But you won't be fulfilled.
Okay, try me.
Here's the spite. Baby
Hmm.
size spite, little tiny like, hors d'oeuvre size spite, but it's
Hmm.
still a little bit of spite of
Well, I would tell you it's a
don't
little bit of
believe me, just watch.
right, right. There's a little jealousy there too. So let me just
Of
let you know.
course.
So you don't have to show anybody shit. Just enjoy yourself
This is why I said like
while you're flying out to Fiji and while you're out in Indonesia and different places,
wherever.
because you can. And so some people, remember, some people that's a projection of things.
Mm-hmm.
Let me push you off some children so you will not have the kind of life you're living right now, because
Right.
I'm not having that kind of life and I have children. But the whole point is everybody gets to do what they want to do.
You
If you
literally chose that. You
Right,
chose it.
children are a blessing to the people who want them to be a blessing. They can
Right.
be a burden to some people, and some
But at the
people don't have to have them, and they can be none of the above because they're not
right.
even thinking
But
about
that's
children at all.
but at the beginning of all of it is that they are a choice.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
think the fact that people felt like they didn't have a choice and that's why they have children,
Right.
I don't like that it becomes this disrespectful thing of like, well, you chose differently than me. So I'm going to make you feel some type of way about it, or I'm going to
Right.
burden you with this, or I'm going to
W-
be disrespectful to you. And it's like, stop doing that shit. It's disrespectful. Respect my choices,
Absolutely. And guess what?
or don't fucking say anything.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Because we have to get to a practice where we don't extend our energy,
Yeah.
and we're not even disrespected because it's the feeling's not even there.
Yeah.
When people come sideways,
Mm-hmm.
we turn that shit around. We
Right.
understand projection. Oh, okay, that's your perspective. Oh, okay, that's not mine.
Mm-hmm.
What are you having for dinner? Like really like turn that shit all the way around.
Yeah.
How was
Yeah.
your day? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
reframe,
Yeah.
and that's the whole point. As we continue to do that, they'll slow it down. They won't fuck with you
Right.
because they know you're not the one.
I think this is also why, um, because so many of those types of questions happen, this is why I live such a like isolated life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of realized like I was surrounded by people that either had kids, wanted kids, couldn't have kids, were desperate for kids, or were on this path that they were, trying to climb this ladder or trying to do this thing, and they couldn't respect my choices. So it's like the people that I'm surrounded with, I respect their choices and they respect mine.
Nice.
So it just works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's so strange to me. I think with respect goes a lack of understanding. Hear me out. When you respect someone, you don't necessarily have to understand them.
Right.
So it's like there's this lack of understanding, but it's this excess or yeah, excess of acceptance.
Okay. And I'll meet you with that. I'll say there's a not knowing.
Yeah. And not
And
having to know.
right in this like a pleasantness in not knowing. I don't
Yeah.
have to know. Um, if you share with me, that's fine. And it's
Right.
also allowing, right?
Yes.
So I'm allowing you to be your full self, however you show up. There's a lack of judgment too.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually no judgment there because
No.
however you decide to live your life, you can have 25 children or
Mm-hmm.
you can have -5. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you can have children vicariously through your sister, your friend,
And I
you can.
literally think about those things. My friend with the birthday party that I talk to every day,
Hmm.
she has a child.
Hmm.
I
Exactly.
respect her for being somebody's mother.
Yeah.
And I understand that it is like this difficult thing that she walks through, that she tries every day to be her best at. And I commend her for it.
Right. And it doesn't have to be a difficult thing because some people enjoy being a mother,
Yeah, I'm
right?
saying because of
And
like outside forces and shit like that, and like COVID and homeschooling and
oh,
those things. That's what I'm
well,
saying.
the challenges that come up. Yes.
Yes, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying.
get it.
I'm
Yes,
I'm not saying it's
absolutely.
like difficult to be her daughter's parent. No, I'm saying like you got to deal
Hmm.
with protecting your child from, oh my god, the world.
Yeah.
But it's easy to be her friend, and it's
Hmm.
easy to have our bond because we respect each other and
Right.
we don't try to figure each other out all day.
Right. And
We
that
just
could
go,
be
you good? You doing that? Cool. You need help with
right.
that? All right, cool.
Look at that. That's beautiful. And I can also translate that to different cultures, right?
Yeah.
Different races.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to explain my blackness to you,
No.
right? I don't have to explain my womanness to you.
No.
I'm a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm an African American woman, or I'm a woman of color, whatever you want to call me,
Right.
but I don't have to explain myself to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't ever have to explain the fact that you're a housewife to anybody. You don't even have to tell them anybody's your house. Like, that's not, none of that shit is anybody's business.
It shouldn't be, but you know how people are. What do you do?
What do you do?
Right?
What do you do? I live. I be. That'll fuck somebody up. I be.
I might want to start that. What do you do? I
Oh,
experience joy.
right. I
I'm an
live.
unhappy person that experiences joy.
Oh my
And
God.
go.
Right. Like that'll really fuck somebody up.
I'm sure that like next time, you know what? I'm gonna try that. I
Yeah.
am gonna try that.
What do you do? I am. Like, look,
I'm a being.
yes. I
It's
breathe. What do you do? I breathe.
I live.
I
I'm
shit.
out
I
here.
fart. I do all these things. I
I'm
go to
out
the
here.
bed. Like, I listen. I walk. I
Right.
talk. What do you do?
I
You know,
experience.
right. I experience. Exactly. And that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, whew, what a beautiful thing to say. Like, I am me, and this is what I do.
Yeah.
I spend time being me. I think we get caught up too much in a thing that, oh, this is just something to say,
I think
you
we get caught
know.
up in labels and definitions and
Oh
trying to
yeah,
put people in boxes. And when those people don't
that's true.
fit in boxes, people fucking short circuit.
Because they don't know what else to say.
They
They just
don't say
lost.
anything.
Hmm.
Don't say a word. Don't say shit. Oh, you're
Yeah,
Sylvia? Cool. I'm Lori. Done.
that's it. Even the fact of the question, how are you? Like, do you care?
No,
You know,
no one
because people say,
cares.
how you doing? And they done kept on walking. They haven't even stopped to see, like, they gone.
Yeah. I notice that all the time when people are in the store and they go, "How you doing?" I'm always the person to say, "I'm fine. How are you?" And
Hmm.
sometimes people are shocked. Like I
Hmm.
had a lady at the grocery store. She was scanning the stuff, and I was unloading the cart, so I was like at the opposite end, so I couldn't talk to her yet. But when I got up to the
Hmm.
ATM thing, I mean the to pay,
Hmm.
she was like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "I'm fine. How are you?" And she's
Hmm.
like, "I'm really good. Thanks for asking. No one asked."
Hmm. Yeah.
Where are we that we don't
We're we're
care?
well, I don't know that we ever really cared. You know, I think we were exchanging pleasantries.
Mm-hmm.
And so even saying how are you and exchanging that, you still don't know if that person cares or not. But sometimes people are in their own world so much
Mm-hmm.
that her saying that, they just met with a non-response. And I'm gonna say that's okay too, because you don't owe me anything. So
No.
I'm gonna keep being my lovely self, and you can be your unhappy self and keep it pushing. You know what
But
I
don't you
mean?
think it's like nice when you meet another person that does care?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
I think it's like this moment of joy
It's
because I
beautiful,
figured
yeah.
this out. I just said it, but I figured this out that like as a overall, if you ask me if I was happy, I would probably tell you no. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've got all these things that I'm like thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm constantly seeking and experiencing joy,
Mm-hmm.
which works me towards moving myself up into the
Mm-hmm.
happiness space, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like a great feeling to find someone else who is doing the same thing. Because
Oh
I think
yeah.
there's a lot of unhappy people walking around right now. There's a bunch of
Right.
people who are doing a bunch of shit that we don't want to do. We're doing a bunch of shit that we have to do. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you're finding these pockets of joy
Mm-hmm.
that are moving your meter up.
Right. Oh no, I agree. And I look at it, as you say, happy. I look at fulfilled as unfulfilled.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
a lot of unfulfilled people that don't know what being fulfilled looks like because they haven't tapped into it. They haven't
Mm-hmm.
decided to be fulfilled, and they're used to being unfulfilled, and they're doing the same old thing, thinking that they could get a different result, and they're not. And they're
Yeah.
going to keep being unfulfilled, which lands them in an unhappy place. So,
Or for me, it's not understanding that that's even an option,
understanding that, what's the option?
that you could be fulfilled. that there is an option for you to be fulfilled, that there is an option for you to make a choice to be fulfilled.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yes.
I forever, like we talked about this before, especially in money matters, always felt like I had to do this particular thing because these were the only skills that I had that people would pay for.
I see.
You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that I didn't know I couldn't do any of these other things. I never even thought that there was an option, nor had I tried, nor did I even. It's like you turn on Google and you're going to Google something, but you don't even know what to type to Google the thing.
Right. Right. And so it just starts with the thought of I desire happiness, or I desire
Mm-hmm.
joy, or I desire peace. When you start to think about what it is you do desire, it's about saying that and watch it happen. Things will show up out of the blue because remember, I didn't come here by myself. I didn't just create myself,
Right.
but I was created to create. And so I'm going to use what I know to create the kind of life I desire. I do know that. And I hope that people, if all they have is that little bit of knowledge, use it to their benefit.
Yeah, that makes sense. You almost have to prompt people to take a breath so that way they even get to that point of kind of questioning or thinking or having a moment to have clarity in a way, I guess, to know that like, oh, maybe I could have something different. But you don't know if you're just like doing and doing and doing, you know? When you have
Mm-hmm.
scarcity brain, you're not thinking about that.
No, you'll stay there until you
Yeah.
recognize that you are abundant. And that goes back to the respect. A lot of
Yeah.
times people are not going to give you respect because they don't respect themselves. So it's about stepping out of that frequency of people. Just leave them alone. Because
Mm-hmm.
if they can't ask you healthy questions, like seriously, like you have a small group, I do too. And if
Mm-hmm.
you can't come to me correctly, you don't get a chance to come to me again.
Right.
I'm not going to allow that. I know now more than ever how important I am. And as you know right now, ever so much how you're important to yourself, no, you don't get to ask me any foolish ass questions again. Because that's
No.
foolishness.
Yeah.
Go sit down and ask your damn self that shit. Yeah, that's where I am.
I love it. That's it. Go sit down and ask your own damn self.
Mhm.
That's it, Lori. You got anything else? Because we're about to wrap this up.
I love y'all. Let me hear from y'all. Holla at your
Please,
girl.
please.
Holla at your other girl.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Peace. That's it for this week's show. I'm Lori Scott.
And I'm Sylvia Johnson. And you've been listening to What's Been Better.
A big thank you to Lagon Music Inc. for providing our music. This show is edited and produced by us with a little help from our family and friends. We love you all.
We want to hear what's been better for you. To be a guest on the show, send us an email to questions@whatsbeenbetter.com. Or you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at What's Been Better Podcast.
Thanks for listening.